you are providing a pair of liquidity. We will cover a short repetition of what you've learned last week. Here is the presentation. What is liquidity mining on Cake DeFi and Defi-Chain? So what is liquidity mining? First of all, if we have a transaction going on in the crypto world, in the crypto space, every transaction, as you know, has to be validated. So there is a validation process, and this validation process can be done with several methods. It could be a validation by staking a coin, which means you're just holding, or it could be a validation by doing operations, so like it is in Bitcoin. If you want to validate a transaction in Bitcoin, you have to do a mathematical operation. And if you are the fastest who is doing this mathematical operation, you are getting rewarded with coins, with Bitcoin. So this is called the proof of work in Bitcoin. And there is the proof of stake. Staking means you are just holding the coin and you are giving a proof that you are holding this coin. So for the validation process, so you are eligible of validating a transaction just by holding a coin and providing it for the validation process. That means you are locking your cryptos. You say, okay, I lock away my cryptos. I take them, put them into a drawer, close the drawer, and then I lock them away for a certain period of time. And if you lock away your cryptos, if you're providing your cryptos for staking, if you're holding them, you get rewarded by an interest rate. So it's just, if you give me your cryptos, I give you some rewards for lending the cryptos to me. That's basically all what it's about when it comes to staking. First of all, let's run through really quickly through the differences between Cake DeFi and DeFi. So Cake DeFi, both of them are platforms issued by the same person or a company. The company is owned by Julian Hospice, which is an Austrian guy, and he has founded Cake DeFi and DeFi. Cake DeFi is a platform. Defi-Chain is a wallet only. So on Cake DeFi, on the platform, you have no private keys. It is basically regulated by, let's say, itself. It has a KYC process. So yeah, there are some countries excluded of participating on the platform, and it's a centralized solution. So if Cake DeFi is breaking down, it's likely that your assets are in danger. On the other hand, we have Defi-Chain, which is a wallet, a decentralized wallet. So it's also called non-custodial wallet, which means you are owning the private keys to it and no one else. It's a non-defaults, no KYC, and is decentralized. So you have all the things that you have on the other side on Cake DeFi. You don't have them here. On Cake DeFi, you get some support. On the Defi-Chain wallet, you don't have any support. On the Cake DeFi platform, the exchange functionality is very limited. I'll show you in a second what I mean by that. On the Defi-Chain platform, you have an exchange included, so you can exchange between the coins. That's why it's called DeFi, Decentralized Finance. On Cake DeFi, the frequency of payout for your staking rewards, so for your interest for staking, is pooled together. That means you're getting a payout every 12 hours. On Defi-Chain, the payout is whenever a block is finished, which is much faster in my experience so far. We have liquidity mining. What is liquidity mining? What is liquidity? Liquidity mining means you are providing a pair of liquidity. So if, for example, if I want to buy Bitcoin with a euro or with a dollar, I have this pair dollar Bitcoin. And if someone is providing liquidity in dollar and Bitcoin, it means they have to put in dollar and Bitcoin on the platform. And then they're providing liquidity for this pair. And this is what Cake DeFi and Defi-Chain, what they are trying to achieve. They want to have liquidity on their exchange, on their wallet, so that people are able to buy and sell. It means you always have to put in 50% of value of one token and 50% of the other. So if one DeFi equals 4 USDT, you have to put in 1 DeFi or 100 DeFi and the same amount, the same value in USDT, which equals, in this case, 400 USDT. So that means if you put in 1 DFI and someone is taking out USDT and someone is putting in 1 DFI, the liquidity pool grows in one direction. And this is how you're generating liquidity and how you make it possible to buy and sell. So if someone is just coming to the platform and says, I want to buy DeFi, or in this case, I want to sell DeFi, then he's putting in his DeFi and he's taking out the US dollar from the liquidity pool. What else do we have there? A risk of doing liquidity mining. With one risk of providing liquidity is the so-called impermanent loss. So this is something we have to keep in mind when we're doing this. And this is one of the reasons why the rewards are so high in liquidity mining. Because if there is a fluctuation in the price of the pair that you're providing, in this case, DeFi and USDT, and if there is a lot of fluctuation, then it's likely that you will get a lot of rewards to compensate your impermanent loss up to a certain point. So here you see now my Cake DeFi wallet, my Defi-Chain wallet, sorry, and you will see the last week I talked about PDBC. Unfortunately, PDBC, the APR was going down to 197% here, as you can see. So it was going down to 197. That's why I switched to DVNQ, which is down to 197 currently as well. So it's going on a daily basis, it's going really up and down. Today in the morning, I had on DVNQ, I had 223%. Last week, it was, 240, something like that. Then it was down to 180 again. Now it's back to 197. So it's fluctuating a lot, but nevertheless, it's roughly 200% APR. That means on an annual basis. And this is, you are getting payouts. So again, if you're watching the balance here, on my token, so the lower one here, which is 2.17195,404. So the last numbers are 404. If you're watching this and we are playing around a little bit here, then you will see that will grow in a short period of time. And this is accounted to my wallet here, to my balance here. Another very important thing that I didn't mention last week is, if you transfer DFI to this wallet, to Defichain, always keep a certain amount of UTXO in your wallet, because UTXO is the utility token which is needed to pay for the transactions. If you have UTXO, if you have a balance of 0 on UTXO, you will not be able to do any transaction within the wallet. So always keep in mind to transfer some DFI. If you're transferring DFI to this wallet, to the Defichain wallet, then keep some DeFi, 2 or 5 DFI, keep them to ensure you will be able to pay the fees within the wallet. And as you can see, you remember maybe the last digits here was 404 and now it's 588. So it's just within a minute. And now is the next raise here. So it's really going on a very effective basis. Today in the morning I reset it, and not totally. In the morning I was like 1 point something in the tokens here, in the DeFi token, the lower one, and in the evening it's now more than 22 again. And what I did in the morning was I changed some of the tokens to DVNQ again, and I will now exchange the DUSD. So I would like to have the tokens converted to DUSD, and then I'm adding more liquidity. I'm reinvesting my profits. That's what I'm doing now. And I'm doing this by going to the DEX, to the DEX tab. I'm going to swap. Here I select DeFi as the source, and the target should be DUSD. And as you can see here in the bottom, I have 4.07, and I just want to transfer here 1.4 DeFi. Slippage, very important here. Always set this to 1%. This makes it makes the transaction take a little bit more time, but on the other hand, you pay less fees for the transaction. Then you have the estimated DFI price in dollar. In DFI, the total amount to be swapped, the slippage tolerance, and the estimated fee. So the estimated fee is below below 1 cent, which is nearly nothing. I click on continue. There is your summary again, confirm swap. I have to put in my transaction password. And now in the bottom of the screen, you see waiting for transaction here. I'm switching to this screen where you can see the balance then. And whenever this transaction is completed, you will see an OK button next to this waiting for transaction. So we're waiting for this. And whenever this is completed, I have filled up my balance there. And then I can put my assets, my DUSD and my DVNQ, I can add it to my liquidity mining pool. So I can top it up, and then it is working for me again. And as mentioned before, on the Defichain wallet here, there is no auto staking. Now you see the transaction is completed on the screen. It shows me transaction completed. OK, I click OK. And now you see here, it has been reduced to 0.779. And here I have DUSD 5.44. And now I'm just adding liquidity to the liquidity pool by just clicking on DVNQ either, or by going here to the DEX tab again and choosing add liquidity from here.
And you decide to change it to DUSD?
DVNQ, so
why? Because you get more rewards there, or what was the reason?
Yes, it was at that time, a few days ago, the rewards of DPDBC was down to 160 or something like that, and DVNQ was at 230. So that's why I switched to the other pair. I just I removed my liquidity. I sold my DPDBC for a DFI, and then I was by purchasing DVNQ for the DFI, and I was putting it back to liquidity mining. So,
but all on the Defi platform, the Defi wallet, or
everything within everything within the Defichain wallet. So that can be done all in the Defichain wallet. So now, for now, I'm adding liquidity from before, and I don't know which one of those numbers. So I don't know which one is more of those. So is it more the DVNQ or is it more the DUSD? Which one is more? I'm doing this by touching max here on the DVNQ, and then I'm seeing in the bottom part I need 6 DUSD, but I have available only 5.44. So I have more DVNQ, which means I'm pressing max on the DUSD. And now you see all my DUSD are spent, and I need 0.038, and I have available 0.04, which means everything on right, I can do that. And now you see again the summary. You have the estimated fee, which is still below 1 cent. I click on continue. summary one more time. Confirm add liquidity, adding the liquidity. Again, here we have the transaction to sign, transaction authorized. Again, waiting for the transaction. I'm switching back to balances. Here I have 34.916 on DBNQ, the USD on the bottom. And whenever this transaction is finished, it will go up maybe to 35, something like that, I assume. We will see. So the number of liquidity that you have here, this number is generated by the app. And you always can go back from DBNQ, USD. You can go back to the single assets. I will show you that in a second. So that is by removing liquidity. So I go here, say remove liquidity. Then I go to max, for example, remove the liquidity. I cannot do that currently because the transaction is going on still. So then I see exactly how much money I will, or how much assets I will receive when I'm doing this. I will receive $420 and I will receive 2.9 DBNQ. And whenever I have, now you see the transaction has been completed. We'll switch back to the balances. And now you see it switched to 35.36 instead of 34. And now if I'm owning now DUSD, I'm owning now DBNQ. And if I would like to remove my liquidity or to switch into another pair, I'm taking here out my liquidity. I'm taking all the liquidity out here. Or if I just want to go with a part of that, I'm taking a part of it out of it, like 50%, something like that. Then I go to continue. I'm taking out my liquidity. Then I'm ending up here with the single pairs. And then I can transform my DBNQ to another pair. So swap here again. If you want to swap, you go to the DEX. You go on the right upper side to swap. You select DBNQ. You want to transform it to whatever it is, the other pair that you want to go with. So if I want to go back to DBDBC, I just go to DBDBC. I click on max, slippage 1%, and then I continue, and then I'm going back to the other asset. And whenever I have another asset ready, I can go again to the liquidity pool. I go to add liquidity, and then I can put in all the amount of the pairs that I have, that I'm owning. So a little bit of work, a little bit of fiddling around with, but you will get used to that. So, and if you, it's all about just getting some liquidity into that, some coins into that, put in some DeFi, exchange that to DUSD, exchange that to whatever it is that you want to liquidity mine, a second pair, put it on liquidity mining, and then watch your profits coming in. If you want to go the more convenient way of doing this, go with Cake DeFi, because Cake DeFi is less work, is more user-friendly, the interface is more user-friendly. So that would be for me as well. I started with Cake DeFi, and then I moved to the other platform. Okay, so thanks for being over to you, or sorry for being over to you. The stage is yours. Ka-ching.
Ka-ching.
Please be aware, we are no financial advisors. We do not provide any advice. We only share our experience and our results are not typical. If we mention any stocks, funds and other type of investments, it is for educational and illustrational purposes only. Most people are unable to achieve similar results to ours. If you want to achieve similar results, you have to commit yourself to systemize, to learn and to stick to the rules.